Hello, my name is Maximiliano Naranjo, and this is my Evidence 1 case on global value chain on Christmas accessories. This case study examines the global value chain for Christmas decorations. It focuses on Walmart and the manufacturers of these Christmas decorations, situation, and the current challenges they are facing. So where are most Christmas ornaments manufactured? Well, most of them are manufactured in Yiwu, China. This part of China has many manufacturers, mostly being smaller manufacturers. The city has many sourcing agents which will put you in direct contact with these manufacturers. So when it comes to activities and that are involved in the global value chain, they're mostly the ones that are involved are design and planning, manufacturing of these decorations, national logistics, as well as international logistics, and the distribution among key sales points, this being the retail stores. So the key actors that are involved in the value chain are the sourcing agent who link you to the manufacturers. These same manufacturers are also involved, so are the logistic providers and the people who supply the raw material to the manufacturer. And finally, we have the retailers such as Walmart. In recent years, China has gained the nickname of being called Santa's Workshop, as 83% of the world's Christmas decorations are produced in China, this being for their low cost and manual labor, efficient networks, and concentration of industries, such as Yiwu being the best example of this, as so many of these manufacturers are based in Yiwu. As most of these manufacturers are smaller manufacturers, what allows them to compete with the much larger manufacturers are things such as being more specialized in what they do. They also benefit from the cluster effect, which means since many of these manufacturers are concentrated in one point, it allows them to get a much better rate on raw materials. And they take advantage of the platforms such as Alibaba, which helps them get in contact with large retail chains such as Walmart. So, why don't many multinational companies have their own supply chain? This being for reasons such as having your own supply chain has many issues, such as companies losing the flexibility to be able to choose between many different providers for goods and services, as well as it being very expensive and complex. And finally, they can run into issues such as logistical or manufacturing problems, which cause them to experience a stock out of one of the products. Uh, when these companies when these companies lose a possible sales from having the stock out, it costs them millions of dollars in revenue. The benefit of Walmart having outsourced to many smaller firms allows them to be much more flexible as well as agile. They have a reduction in cost as they are able to obtain a cheaper product, much more cheaper, in fact. They also don't have the need to hire their own workforce to produce these items. This allows them to allocate time and resources into different areas of the company, which would better benefit them in a whole. The risk of having so what are some of the risks of Walmart leading such a long supply chain? Well, some of these risks are increase in tariffs, which can impact profitability, geopolitics such as war, as we see in Russia and Ukraine, and trade wars, which is currently happening between the U.S. and China. They also see problems such as quality control issues, and finally, disruptions in shipping, which can occur for multiple reasons, from being political to environmental factors. These problems tend to cost companies such as Walmart millions of dollars, as well as stress on the company's supply chain as a whole. Some of the risks highlighted in the Christmas and March case are factors such as what happened, which were shipping backlogs, which caused many issues in the shipping of them going out and in, which delayed many orders. China's zero-day policy, which was meant to combat the spread of COVID, but it shut down many cities, and geopolitical issues between the U.S. and China, as well as rising production costs. When it comes to the risk uh, that remain from 2022, well, we see things such as the China zero-day policy, which shut down entire cities and affected delays in production. And current risks that are expected to rise in 2023 are the US-China trade tensions, as well as growing production costs as things are getting much more expensive, not only in manual labor, but raw material. When it comes to the effect the Chinese lockdown had in 2022, it had a very big effect because the Shanghai port was shut down for 3 months, which delayed around 60% of the holiday ornament shipments, which caused companies like Walmart to lose on so many potential sales. So, what should Walmart do when it comes to ordering early, and if this will solve the problem? The quick answer would be that it would help to order early, but it won't solve the problem because in order to fix this problem, you only have two viable options to solving the issues, which is nearshoring by utilizing Mexico to produce these ornaments, or diversifying the suppliers with suppliers from Southeast Asia, which are countries such as Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia, or Thailand. Now, the question is, should Walmart build their own factories? The quick answer is no, as it would just be very complicated and costly. It would also reduce Walmart's ability to be more flexible and agile. And when it comes to the relocation of the suppliers to Southeast Asia or Europe, well, Southeast Asia would have a much lower cost of when it comes to the production of these items, but they currently don't have the infrastructure, very good infrastructure in these countries. They have very bad infrastructure, in fact. But when it comes to the Europe and the US, the infrastructure is much more better, but the production cost would also be extremely high because they would have manual labor is a lot more expensive in these countries. Out of these two options, the better one would be Southeast Asia, but it would require a very significant investment into infrastructure in order to make to me for it to be a much more viable option. In recent years, many people in the US do their Christmas shopping much more earlier than in previous years, as well as most of the shopping being done online, which have shifted supply chain logistics, but spending still remains very high for Christmas things. These trends do are also seen in Latin America as many US retailers such as Walmart operate in many Latin American countries. And a lot of American countries also have a very strong Christmas tradition embedded into their culture. The only significant difference is the amount they spend on these Christmas things, which is much more lower due to the average pay in these countries being much more lower as well. And finally, here's the conclusion. This was a very interesting case study where we could see how pandemic shift and trends, geopolitical issues, scarcity of raw materials or finished products all have a massive impact on companies' supply chains and availability of certain products. Uh, Thank you very much for listening.